Okay, let us now look at an angakaryam, which we require to derive some forms when the affix yat is used. The sutram that we are going to study now is idyati. Idyati. Look at the number, as always, look at the number, see if you know anything in this neighborhood of this sutram. The number is 6465. Idyati. We are very well familiar with this section also. Look over here, we see the sutram ato lopa iticha, which we have used repeatedly. Then comes idyati, which we are studying right now. Then after that we have ghuma stha ga pa jahati sam hali. Then a lingi. So we have a bunch of rules that we know. Specifically, we know this one very well. Ato lopa iticha. We also know ghuma stha ga pa jahati sam hali. Anuvritti of ataha comes from the prior sutram. Now we are in the angasya adhikara. So we know exactly what to expect now is that adantasya angasya ikaradesho bhavati yat pratyaye pare. Now why do we get adantasya angasya? Because of the paribhasha sutram, which also we have used a number of times, which is yena vidhistadantasya. Yena vidhistadantasya. When Pani says ataha, that ataha is an adjective to the angam. It doesn't mean just a angam which is a akaraha, but an angam ending in a akaraha also qualifies. So by yena vidhistadantasya, when Pani says ataha, he means an angam which is ending in a akara also, not just an akara itself. So the sutram becomes very simple in meaning now that the adantasya angasya ikaradesha bhavati yat pratyaya pare, and by alontyasya 1152, whenever we have to do a substitution, we only substitute the ending letter of the term being substituted, in this case the akaraha. So the ending akaraha of a angam which is ending in akaraha takes the ikaradesha when followed by the affix yat. Let's look at the vritti. So even before looking at the vritti, we can construct our own vritti. Maybe that's the next step for us now. Construct your own vritti and see how that checks with the kaumudi or the kashika. So here what do we know? We know that the adantasyangasya ikaradesha bhavati yat pratyaya pare. Let's see what the vritti says. Yati pare ataha itsyat. Very straightforward. So he has combined the meaning of the paribhasha sutram yena buddhisadantasya along with the paribhasha sutram alontyasya, and given the phalitartha resulting meaning. So rather than saying adantasya angasya sthani ikaradasya bhavati and then using the paribhasha sutram alontyasya, so instead of doing it like that, he's made it simple for us. He just said that when a akaraha is followed by the pratyaya yat. Now when something is followed by pratyaya, obviously we are at the end of an angam, because angam is what? Yasmat pratyaya vidhi tadadi pratyaya angam. So when you add an affix, you create an angam. An angam is a relative term. So an angam is relative to the pratyaya. So when you say yati pare, it obviously implies an angam. So this akaraha must be at the end of an angam, which followed by the affix yat, it takes the ikara deshaha. So when the affix yat follows, the ending akara of angam is replaced by ikara. Very straightforward sutram. Take an example. Dina janaya vittam deyam. Money should be given. Charity should be given. Donation should be given to those people who are destitute, who are downcast, who are poor. So deyam is fit to be given, should be given, not to be given. Now, deyam derived from dhatu do dain dane, do dain dane. Of course, the remove the it letters in that adirni to davaha, and then halantyam. So this we are looking at these rules which we already know. Adirni to davaha, the do gets its sanya by the sutram 135. Halantyam, the ending nyakaraha gets the its sanya, and then tasya lopaha. Anubandha lope da. Take da plus yat. Of course, halantyam takarasi sanya tasya lopaha. The ya gets the sanya of ardhadhatukam by ardhadhatukam sheshaha. Ardhadhatukam sheshaha 34114. And then comes idyati. Check all the conditions. We have a adantam angam. Angam ending in akaraha. Followed by the affix yat. Then what happens? The akara takes the ikara adesha. Very, very straightforward sutram it is. And then after that we just do sarvadhataka, ardhadhataka yoho, gunadesha. We get the form deya. This will be a visheshanam. In this case, qualifying with them. So deyam is declined like, vanam or phalam or jnanam, which is napumsakalinge pratama ekavachanam. Now, one small question here is that why does Panini put the ikaradesha here? Ikaradesha. It says ataha eat syat. Eat. Why not just put a ikaradesha? Lagavam syat. So it would have been easier, it would have been shorter to just say lagavam, means it would have been brevity. In the interest of brevity, to keep the sutram short, why not just say id yati? Because gunadesha for ikaraha and ikaraha will still ekaraha eva. So why not say id? Why say id? Now we should know the answer to that, because if you know the context of this sutram, in this sutram it will not make a difference whether the adesha is a ikaraha atva ikaraha, because ubhayorapi ekaradesha syat, gunadesha ekara eva syat, will be ekaraha only. So we'll get the same form whether we put a ikaraha here or a ikaraha. So then why does Panini use a dirgha adesha ikaraha? Because we just looked at the context here. This anuvritti of eat, it goes into the next sutram, which is ghumastha gapa jahati samhali, like dhiyate, diyate, and so on. So that time anuvritti into the next sutram requires the ikaraha. So that is why Panini puts the ikara in this sutram itself, rather than again prescribing ikara separately. So one more time, in 6465 it doesn't matter whether we have ikara adesha or ikara adesha, but in 6466 it does matter. It does matter. We have to have a ikara adesha in 6466. So for the sake of getting the proper anuvritti into 6466, Panini prescribes the ikara adesha, not the ikara adesha. So this is the angakaryam. This angakaryam is specific to the yat affix only. It is a very important angakaryam because these forms like geyam, nyeyam, deyam, peyam. There are a number of dhatus which. Let's not also forget one more thing. I just give an example of geyam. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram, that Bhaja Govindam, right? So that is the same example, same verse as this one. So this example is taken from Bhaja Govindam. Now let's not forget one thing. Is 6145. 6145 says that Adecha Upadeshe Shiti. 6145. So Adecha Upadeshe Shiti. If you have a dhatu ending in a H, like dhatu gai, and in a aikaraha, that ajanta dhatu. So that H is substituted by a akaraha, ad echaha, upadeshe ashiti. So when you take a dhatu gai, when we want to add the affix yat by achoyat, same thing as we did over here, we added the affix yat by achoyat, then that gai will immediately become ga by adech upadesheshati. So this sutram will also apply not only those dhatus which are ending in a akara in the dhatu pataha, but also those dhatus which end in a h, means eong, I, ouch, ekaraha, okaraha, aikaraha, aukaraha. Because all those dhatus will also become adanta dhatavaha because of adech upadesheshati 6145. Then subsequent to that, we'll have to use the same sutram. So this sutram is very important because it applies not only in the case of those dhatus which are already akaranta dhatavaha, upadeshe dhatu partah. But also in the case of those dhatus which end in the H letter, because then 6145 will immediately apply, make those dhatus akaranta dhatavah, then subsequent to that 61, I mean this 6465 will apply. So in the case of gai becomes ga by 6145, ga plus yat, we get the form geyam. So geyam gita nama sahasram. Okay, so this is the Angakaryam, and the best to remember the sutram is that this sutram comes right between the Atolopa and the Ghumastha Gapa Jahati Samhali. Between those two rules comes this sutram. Idyati, Anuvritti of Ataha comes from 6464 into this sutram, and Anuvritti of Eat goes from this sutram into the next sutram, Ghumastha Gapa Jahati Sam Hali.